series. Whoa, what the fuck? Anyway, what do you guys think? Is Darkrai actually good? Is Darkrai whack? I have a few opinions on the character, but I want to hear what you guys have to say first. Alright, let's see what Kevin says. Here's a good character. No bias. Just most people don't know how to use him properly. They don't believe he plays different from all other characters in the game. Example, if Chomp does an unsafe pizza cutter on Cry, wow, this is getting a little bit too loud. If Chomp does an unsafe pizza cutter on Cry, you shouldn't grab because yeah, you'll get damage in, but you'll shift without Nightmare. I like that. I like that. Let me read this other comment first. Hartana says, I think he's good with a solid overall design and is good at abusing the different phases depending on the matchup. And with Champ, you can abuse him in the field and never shift, or you can push to Nightmare mode. So that's similar to Cayman's sentiment. That's like, yeah, it doesn't play like the rest of the characters. He has different goals depending on who he's fighting. It's not like, oh well, I'm fighting every single character pretty much the same way. If you're Shadow Mewtwo, you pretty much fight every single character the exact same way. If you're Darkrai, some characters you want to shift them to Nightmare. Well, in my opinion, you always want to shift to Nightmare, but some characters you would rather stay in a certain phase longer. So that's respectable and understandable. Same with going for certain mix-ups. If you're like Shadow Mewtwo, you go for the throw because the throw is how you get your damage. Darkrai, you get the damage with the throw, but why would you go for a throw if you're not going to go into Nightmare? Stuff like that. All right, so this is what I think. Let's see if we can focus this on a couple of things. So these are the two things that I want to talk about: matchups and the overall design of the character. What do you guys think about Darkrai's matchups? Because in my opinion, Darkrai doesn't have very many actually winning matchups. He has a few pretty bad ones, but like Chandelure is like super bad. Gardevoir is bad. Decidueye is actually, I didn't even think it was that bad, but it's pretty bad. Suicune's pretty bad too. But I don't know if you were to say, okay, Darkrai wins this free. I don't know if I can say that Darkrai wins anything free. Maybe Machamp, but I don't think any character can beat a character that has 660 HP and does that much damage with the command grab free. But what do you guys think? Alright, let's read some more of this. Wingtide says, I don't know, Darkrai's field phase is godlike, but if you find a character that has a better field phase than you or has tools that can ignite field phase, things get pretty bad soon. That's exactly the problem. And I was going to talk about that in my second point, which is Darkrai bodies like half the cast in field. But if you beat Darkrai in field, like if you're Chandelure, what was Darkrai going to do against Chandelure in field phase? And then if you lose field phase, you're not going to get Nightmare. So now you're really screwed. We go even with Gardevoir. I would like to see you fight a high-level Gardevoir in the first to 10 to see if that's actually the case, because I don't think that's the case, but alright. Let's see. Barb matchup. Yeah, Barb matchup's pretty bad. I think Chandelure's pretty terrible. I want to see a Darkrai do a first to 10 versus Twixie, because I would put actual money that Twixie would win 10-0. Hartana says, his personal opinion, he's probably the character who feels the best to drop a combo with intentionally, because avoiding shifting it doesn't look like it feel super janky. You know, that's pretty common though. A lot of people, they love to keep opponents in field phase. I'm just not feeling that strategy. But I mean, like you know, you got to do you. If you really think that you dominate field phase, keep them in that field phase. That's never been my thing, but that's an actual viable strategy for Darkrai. So. Yeah, Wingtide just slaps too hard, dude. Alright, I don't know because I play Slash and field phase. Yeah, Slash's field phase is good against Darkrai. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Duel and Nightmare. You can just end the combo and it looks pretty good because you're supposed to end the combo because you don't want to actually shift. That makes sense too. Besides Machamp, does anybody have any matchups that you guys think Darkrai actually like really wins? Dude, Rasenryu is like the only Gardevoir that I really be seeing playing. It's all good, homie. Chomp and Zard. Okay, I agree with Machamp. I agree with Chomp. I'm not convinced on Charizard yet because I haven't seen a high-level matchup of that yet. But I would agree with those. I would agree with those. I also think a lot of characters beat those. If you're a really hardcore zoner, I think you also beat those, but I think that's true. Oh yeah, I think everybody beats Blastoise though, right? Yeah, wait till I say this and everybody beats Blastoise, pretty much, yeah. I don't know if there's any character that actually loses Blastoise. Even Blaziken, I think, beats Blastoise. Let's continue this conversation as an overall design. Now, if you guys have watched... Alright, Bonus Slash, I got you. I believe it was S-Kai said in his interview with Midori, it was on Pokkén Talk, that normal Darkrai, and this is not my words, this is S-Kai's words. I agree with these words. He said normal Darkrai in dual phase is the weakest character in the entire game. And I think that's pretty accurate. Now, its moves are super slow. It has a really hard time getting upon its offit. It doesn't really have any forcing pressure of its own. This is my worst now. And I feel like Darkrai's dual phase is so weak in its normal mode that you pretty much have to win field phase. So the problem is if you fight like a zoner, like you guys said, that beats you in field phase, how do you actually win? How do you actually beat Gardevoir if you lose field phase? You just kind of like eat it, you know? Yeah, exactly. Zubat said Darkrai out of Nightmare's unoiled Hakan. That's exactly what it is. If you guys have played Street Fighter 4 or Super Street Fighter 4, oiled Hakan is like terrible, or non-oiled Hakan is terrible, but with oil is extremely good. Cayman, what do you think about dual phase Darkrai though, outside of Nightmare? Hardtennis says. Agree, that's why some of my favorite characters in terms of design, or why is one of my favorite characters in terms of design. He's got obvious strengths, obvious weaknesses. A lot of characters like Guard and Braixen can still fight back pretty hard. If corner, oh yeah, Braixen's really bad in my opinion. I think Braixen actually might be the worst one. If corner, Darkrai at his worst feels horrid, but really solid and neutral when dominant. Now Hitman says, I don't know, man. I feel because I play the character and put time into it, I do kind of feel like I have more to say about him. I'm not saying he's the best character, but I feel like he does need more credit to him. Dual phase Darkrai is hard, to be honest. To me personally, he feels slower because in Nightmare I'm so used to moving around. I don't know, dual phase is bad without Nightmare. Indeed. I've played Shadowcat, Cayman, Jin. I even played Kamal's Darkrai. I feel like, and I've been playing Darkrai for a while. I just don't know a lot of the matchups because I mostly play the Blaziken Discord. So I can speak mostly from experience on the other side, only partially from experience using the character. Oh yeah, I think there are other characters that it should dominate, that it doesn't dominate. You would think Darkrai should completely eviscerate Blaziken because Blaziken has no field phase and Blaziken has no actual method of dealing with true zoning in dual phase. However, when a character gets into Darkrai's 8Y range, it has no actual way to control the space directly in front of it, outside of Nightmare. That's the problem I have with Darkrai. It doesn't have a move that is like, I'm standing here, and I'm going to control the space right here. Like, it doesn't have like a Blaze Kicks or a Fury Attack or something that's like, hey, don't stand here, don't whiff a button here, or I got you. This is me talking about the negatives of Darkrai. Let's not get confused. Nightmare Darkrai is the best character. Well, it's not the best character in the game. It's the best normal character in the game. Bursted Gengar is better, and Bursted Lucario is better. But outside of Bursted Gengar and outside of Bursted Lucario, Nightmare Darkrai is the best character in the game. It dominates the entire cast free. So let's just like make that clear. It does dominate almost the whole game when you get in Nightmare. In fact, a lot of characters can just put down the controller because they just get bodied so hard. Alright, came in saying, well, hold on. First, Bionis says, I've been trying to learn Cry, and I feel so defenseless with Bad Dreams Rising. Well, we pretty much are defenseless without Bad Dreams Rising. So I feel you. Brian Dare, that's a very interesting solution. I actually had someone that was telling me about a Wi-Fi extender. I have no experience with it though. Alright, Kevin says, I get the whole mindset though. If you lose field phase, it's harder for you to win the game because you shifted without Nightmare, but you're starting field phase. There are different ways to work around field phase, like Shandy, Darkrai's teleports. I think that's... what? Is that Slashes? And Nasty Plot for most or moveset, not the counter pressing ones, of course. I like to see it. I like to see it. I think it's an interesting matchup in theory. In practice, I'm not really sure if you can really stop like a high level Chandelure from doing whatever it wants. If you were to give him a single buff What would it be? I personally like some higher projectile priority for Gardevoir and whatnot. Alright, Brian Dare, we can do a first to 3 just to try. Though I'm pretty sure we're gonna have problems, but we can do it. A single buff to Darkrai, what would I do? I would either do one of two things. I would either make Neutral Y back to how it used to be, but that's probably broken. It used to like immediately put out the Bear Trap. But like you said, I would give it something a really high priority of projectile. Like Neutral Y, those moves are trash. But if they had like a really high projectile priority, that would be a problem for other characters. Because then you couldn't just blow through it with half, like, if you had like a, you know, Braixen or Chandelure, Gardevoir, Decidueye, they can't just like blow through it, right? How would I feel? Kevin says, how would I feel if they gave Nightmare and Field Fizz also too broken? Yeah. I don't know what they would do with Darkrai's Field Fizz though. If they gave it Nightmare and Field Fizz. So I'd have to withhold judgment because I don't know what they would do. Pokken, they do some pretty suspect stuff, but I'm not sure what they would do with that. Thanks for the discussion, everybody. We can keep talking. Any thoughts? I'll respond to all the messages, and if I don't, just at me, and I'll see it.